Good morning. It's currently 6 in the morning and I'm in essay crisis. I wasn't sure that I'd do any study related stuff on this channel or anywhere, but I think that I'm going to make this channel kind of about documenting my life. And right now my life truly is essay crisis. So I have an essay due, it's due on Friday, but I work Thursday and Friday. So really it's due on Wednesday. And today's Monday, and it's 2,000 words, and I'm having a bit of writer's block. Like, I feel like I've planned out the parts of the essay. I feel like I could get to 1,000 words, but in terms of getting all the content that the essay requires, it's to 2,000 words. I don't know if that's going to happen. It may take some waffling. That's what's happening today. I tried to write yesterday, but my computer broke. It now seems to be working again, but it still hasn't been done, essentially. I have to do all this while I also have a discussion post due. I'm skipping class tomorrow, but that's what's happening, and I'm gonna take y'all with me.
This train will stop at Circular Quay.
So today is indeed the next day. So now the assignment is kind of due tomorrow. So I've gotten pretty clear on what I'm going to say, and this is my notes here. So I've got 32 minutes at 2 times speed worth of notes. And what my argument is the question. So I don't know how Foucauldian this argument is, but essentially what I'm going to say is that obesity is, I'm not going to use this wording, but it's kind of like a moral panic. Like, people are overly worried about it. And I'm gonna say that biopower, so I'm gonna make it clear that I know what biopower is and what biopolitics is. The problem comes when I make the argument that obesity isn't an issue, and that's because, or isn't as much of an issue as it's been made out to be, because that's not really a Foucauldian argument. I'm hoping she doesn't notice that the core of my argument isn't Foucault, because she seems to love Foucault. Every reading is Foucault. But yeah, I'm going to explain that I know what biopower is. I'm going to say biopower is discipline and biopolitics, and I'm going to show that discipline has real impacts on people's bodies. But then I'm going to jump into, we focus on things. Okay, actually, here's an argument that's kind of related to Foucault. The more realms in which we have discipline, I think possibly the more we normalize discipline itself, and the more we come to expect to be disciplined. And so yeah, that's kind of a Foucauldian argument that I'm gonna throw in there just as this and what I'm gonna say. Oh yeah, oftentimes we focus on things that take our attention away from perhaps more important issues, and that's kind of what I'm going to say. For example, this question is all about the war on obesity, which is a particularly American thing. It hasn't really, discourse about a war, at least where I am, hasn't really come here, but there's still the pointy end of a war on fat bodies. Yeah, but yeah, the war on obesity, for example, you could say people are spending their time thinking about that, disciplining themselves, focused on biomedical ways to fix obesity, and the news is all focused on it. While perhaps everyone could be focused on limiting the proliferation of guns and such. It's substitute whatever cause you think is important. Maybe perhaps the war on obesity distracts from we could be spending more time talking about cruelty to animals, the lack of humanity that we show to animals and farm animals and such. So whatever you're into, you can substitute that in an argument about kind of a moral panic type thing. It's we panic over something that's not really a big problem. So that's going to be my argument. So far I have been reading through my notes document, and I've been going in here and I've been adding more sections so that I can hit the word count. So I've got body paragraphs, and I've been putting in things from here that relate to each body paragraph, and I need to find more sources for this. So I've been reading some of the things that have been assigned, but also just reading from other places. This is going to be where I explain the theory, so that I show that I know the theory. I've got all these notes only from the lecture. Yeah, I may not address this actually. Oh, hang on. Capitalism. Okay, yeah, maybe I'll touch on it. Probably not 400 words though, to be honest. 250 or 200. I think I'm going to do a couple of case studies. It depends on word count and such, and how much they fit in. Like, this one's really interesting, but I'm trying to think about my overall argument and how much either of these fit in. I feel like perhaps this one is easier to just kind of like talk about than this one. Like, I feel like this one would be really cool in the center of a different argument. And the question asks for the significance. It asks for two things which to me amount to the significance, so I don't know what's going on. It's like the effect of biopower on obesity, because it's discussed in relation to the war on obesity, and the significance of these operations. To me, they're the same thing, honestly. Effect and significance. So yeah, but I kind of feel like I should have a title, a subtitle that says significance, so that it's clear that I'm answering the whole question. I don't know. Anyway, so that's where I'm at. Today's a bit disjointed because I can't really hit the uni library because uni is too far away from me and I can't go there when I have other things on. I also have to write a discussion post, so I've just started watching, it's called Invictus, I think. That's for my government course, which is my more favourite one. My majors are sociology and international relations, and yeah, of them, international relations is like really me. Okay, toodaloo, and I'll update you next time something happens with this essay crisis, because it's really getting towards crisis point. Are you okay? Are you feeling kidnapped? Is that what you're... Okay, it's the next day. Next day. So today's Wednesday. So today is basically the last day I can work on it. So here's what I have. It's 5:40 in the morning. Okay, I can easily hit the word limit. Lots of this is quotes and stuff, but so I've just basically got everything now is under headings. That's not a heading. That's kind of the introduction. That's pretty much the argument there. And then there's more bits and bobs from that will be, cut and put into introduction and argument sections. And then, yeah, I've got notes on the discipline part, and then notes on fatness as a health issue, a war on obesity. I haven't got much on that, actually. I'm still working out what I'm going to do with regard to case studies. Yeah, so that's what I have, and I'm going to try to get as much done as possible today. Okie dokie. I'm going to head off to a cafe and get this done.
For ferry and light rail services.
Caffeine high. I have been all day, so there's a bit of shaking because of that. I've turned a lot of it from dot points and like random chunks of essay into like a pretty coherent essay and argument, and I've managed to, I'm over the word limit, which is good. So all I have to do is write one more section, which is on the significance, which I've got bullet points for, and I also have to, I think, write a conclusion. Well, I'm never very good at conclusions, so I've turned the notes into paragraphs. It's currently midday, so I feel like I've done pretty well. Essay crisis still isn't over though, because I still have to reference it. Okay, it's now almost 3 p.m. and I've kind of finished the essay. I say kind of because I could go and cite stuff now and just hand it in and be done with it, but it is well over the word count. It's sitting at 3,000 words and it's supposed to be 2,000 words. So I feel like 2,200 is a fair amount, but 3,000 is like maybe too many. So maybe I'm gonna cut it back. I feel like there are a couple paragraphs that I can get rid of somewhere. I just need to read through it and do that. But yeah, I'm gonna show you what it looks like now because I'm very proud of myself, and it looks like I could be getting this. I reckon I can get to the point where I select bits to be cited by the end of today, but I won't get to the actual citations themselves. What I like to do is I like to highlight sections that need to be cited, like ideas that need citations and stuff, and then like later I put in the citation. So I know what I need to do, and then I go and do it. There's like a very obvious highlights and stuff. As you can see, I have still got a couple of bits to put in here at the start, just in definitional stuff, but that's now my introduction. It has gotten bigger, I realise, but I think it pretty much says all that I need to say there. I kind of managed to shoehorn in my argument more in relation to biopolitics than I thought that I would have, because I realised that I wasn't really answering the question as much as I could be. Paragraphs there. And then disciplinary power. One of these paragraphs is really good. I think this one like goes through like a lot of key points in the syllabus type stuff. Oh yeah, this is kind of the second part. So instead of having this and then the significance, so this is now just a 2-part essay kind of. So it's gone from about like 7 or 8 parts down to 2 parts. This really answers the question here because like it says to say like the effects and stuff, and so that kind of does that. Here's my conclusion, which I still have titled conclusion. But yeah, I feel like my concluding sentence is pretty good, and it kind of encapsulates my argument and stuff. And yeah, so now I'm going to get to cutting back and then citing. I've already got this little A to Z down here, which I think is, people don't do that, but I do. I thought I'd update. It's now, I think, 2 days later. So yesterday I had work until, I think, like I managed to start working on this again at 4 p.m. And so I managed to get it edited back down to 2,200 or so words. And now, since then, probably finished getting that down maybe around 5:30 or 6 p.m. And then since then I've just been adding references, just taking a while, but we've made some progress, and so I'll show you the progress. So as you can see, there's no missing references for the start bit, and so that's all like introductions and stuff, and here we have more body paragraphs that aren't missing any references. This has taken a seriously long amount of time to get done. And now I just have to do this last section of references, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like I have maybe 5 or 6 references to come. I may even just delete some sections that I can't easily find a reference for. When in doubt, just tone back your argument, and then I can hand it in. It's actually due today, and it's due at midnight, but there ain't no way I'm working on it at midnight. Hopefully I can get this done between when I finish my class today, which finishes at 1 p.m, and I have work starting at 4 p.m. ish, and so hopefully I can fit in a couple of hours to cram and get this done. Maybe delete a couple of bits of yay. I just finished it and I'm about to submit it, and it's currently 3:30, so I get a little bit of time off before work. I'll just show you the final product. So this is it. As you can see, this is the PDF, and it's all fully referenced. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty fine. I'll at least pass with this. And then here, oh no, I don't even care. At this point, I'm just going to submit it like that. Here's all my references. Now we can drag it in there. Come on, we can do it. Yes. Agree. Ooh, so essay crisis averted. This may not have been as significant of an essay crisis that other people have, but just know this is one of 2 essays that are due today, and I finished the other one, leaving not very much time for this one to read and understand Foucault. So I'd say it's an essay crisis, and it's now been averted. Now I get to work on watching all the lectures and reading all the readings for a class which I haven't started and has an exam on Tuesday. It's currently the afternoon on Friday, so it's exam crisis time. I thought I'd update y'all on my essay crisis essay. I just got my marks back and I got, I think, a distinction. I got 80 out of 100, which is incredible. The teacher seems to have loved it. They said, and I quote, "This is an excellent essay." So apparently I did well. Their only feedback was I should have made my thesis fewer lines. But yeah, I think that that's pretty good for a crisis essay and for one which, you know, I poured a lot of time into and a lot of stress into. I think that that's a good result, and it takes a little bit of pressure off, I guess. I think there's only one more essay for this class, but it takes a bit of pressure off that one because I don't need to get as much. Probably, well, if I fail, I'll still pass the unit, I think. So yeah,